Hello, hello, beautiful souls, my mystic sisters. It has been a whirlwind. This episode actually, it's come up unplanned. This is one of my intuitive episodes. When life events happen and we're deeply rooted and reminded of the lesson we're meant to receive right now, and with all of the energy shifts that have been going on and following the solar plexus activations and the bumblebee Jasper activations activating what is divinely ours and connecting us with our true purpose, our creative energy, our divine calling and our abilities. This is coming through as this episode is, I don't want to say it's a reminder, but this episode is divine intervention, because if you've been listening along, and if you've been doing the activations and you're making the shifts and you're working really hard to get your shit together and, just be a good person and start getting results and start finding your way again, you really need to take a hot minute and realize that the reason you're struggling and the reason you're listening and trying but still feel so overwhelmed and so frazzled, like that tension behind your eyes where it just feels like everything is so tight and you're clenching. It's because you're holding on that tight. You're holding on and trying to micromanage and control because it's only you. You're the only one capable of managing your own mind, your own life, your own business. But in some way, you have to understand that your obsession with control and that fear of letting go and leaning into trust and asking for help, you're holding on so tight that you're suffocating yourself, which is suffocating your business, which is suffocating your relationships. And no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you do all these things, and no matter how many things you read and listen to, and no matter how many journals you buy, you are never going to get anywhere if you don't start letting go and leaning in to what is meant for you now. So let's break this down. Hello again, my dearest Mystic Sisters. Welcome to the Sorority with Jessica Mystic. I'm your host, Weird, Wacky, Wonderful, Starseed, and divinely led being. Now, you can probably hear there's a bit of a shift in my voice today, and I'm showing up as I am, where I'm at. And it's fine. I'm wearing my Unmute Yourself swag from Nancy Medoff because I've been doing a lot of work with her and on my purpose and my calling and what I'm speaking. And I was very abruptly reminded my mother has lost someone she's loved for a very long time. And whenever we deal with loss, it's a reminder of how much we don't see. Like, there was a lot of signs leading up to this moment. There was a lot of signs that his health was declining. There was a lot of signs that things weren't quite right. But a lot of the times we don't read much into it. And I'm not saying you have to recognize every little thing, but when you don't pay attention to the signs, it can feel like a real shock when something happens abruptly. Things are going to happen abruptly in your life as a wake-up call. And that wake-up call is going to jostle you and make you realize that you weren't taking your life or your situation seriously, and you weren't appreciating where you're at or what you had because you're too busy worrying about where you're going. And you're so passionate and deeply anchored into becoming this most incredible version of yourself. But I really want to stop and remind you that in order to do that, you got to let go of what you think that looks like and when you think that's supposed to happen for you. Still set your goals, still set your own quote unquote deadlines, but those deadlines don't define you. They don't define the way you live. And I was doing my card reading this morning, and all of them had raw Morganite, blue chalcedony, and then leading into orange calcite. And it was such a good reminder. Raw Morganite and blue calcite are both about slowing down. Easy does it. Living in the moment, not getting too wrapped up on what's meant to be, where you're supposed to be, and what's coming. It's not about preparing, it's about reviewing and refining and appreciating and improving upon where we're at right now, taking everything we have, letting it be the lesson we needed so we can recap and move on. And so much pressure of this is put upon us earlier in the new year. And then going into February, it really comes down to honoring myself. I am worth slowing down and enjoying my existence. I am worth letting go of these extra expectations. I only need to accomplish one thing a day. I list my top three. I like to list my top three priorities. It's got to be profit, productivity, or personal growth in some way. One of those, at least one a day in one of those areas is all that's required of me. Even something as simple as, you get annoyed, especially as a mother. Sometimes it's like your kids are always on you and they always want to sleep on you. And for 2 weeks, since the full moon, my kids were not sleeping. They're in my bed or they wanted to be with me, but there's a big shift going on. There's a lot of energy, and I do find comfort in my kids. And my son, my youngest, he is an old wise soul. So when he's on me and is frustrated and overstimulated as I get, it's because he knows that I need that. He's an anchor point. He's just like my husband. He's trying to ground me and anchor me in the best, only way that he knows how. And he's very young. He's only 3 years old, so he doesn't even understand. And it's having those moments where oh, I need to finish this because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a mom, and remembering those boundaries. I try not to work when the kids are at home, but there's always that, oh, I didn't finish this. How terrible it feels when you get frustrated or they try to hug you and you don't realize they're trying to hug you. You think they're just going to get in your way and you move out of the way, and then you see the look on their face of absolute devastation, they were rejected. And that's the moment where you check yourself and go, nope. And you stop and you kneel down, you open your arms and you give them the biggest hug and you tell them you love them and thank you. Those are the kind of moments you're going to miss out on. You're going to miss out on all those small things. And my daughter, when she's at gymnastics, she's like, watch me. I was watching her and I was also messaging, I can't remember who I was messaging. I was messaging a friend or family member or something, responding back to something. But I did look up and I did see her trick, but she thought I wasn't looking because I was holding my phone up. So she thought I was going to miss it. And when we left, she's like, you missed my trick. You didn't see what I did. And I said, yeah, I did. It was your ninja roll. You did that ninja roll and your leg was out. It was so cool. And I described it to her to a detail so she knew that I saw it and her whole face lit up. But had I not seen that, had I missed that moment, she would never forget that. Slowing down, and this is something I am deeply working with this year. I have 2 young children. I've built my business from my cell phone. My cell phone has given me access. I am so grateful for technology and the ability to grow not one, but two businesses through my fucking cell phone. The energy, no, now, and the refinement is I can do it all from my phone, but I don't want to, and I don't need to. I want my phone to be a phone again, a tool that someone can reach me on they need when they need me. I turn off notifications. I do not receive notifications for Facebook messages. I don't receive notifications for Instagram DMs. I don't get any of that on my phone because my phone is for people that are texting or calling me, for friends and family. I have a business line that only works during business hours, and that's it. I'm trying to make my phone a phone again. I'm trying to honor my energy, protect my peace, appreciate that when I am with my children, at some point I'm going to blink again and they're going to grow up. I spent their early years as babies putting everything into building my businesses because I wanted to have something for them. I wanted something to leave behind for them, but they don't understand that. I worked so hard when my daughter was only 7 weeks old. I went back to work and I missed out on so much, and I was so angry and so resentful, and I struggled so harshly with postpartum, and not a day goes by that I don't feel so fucking guilty about that. And when you lose someone, you look back on all the times you were annoyed that they were in the way or things, things that they did, but then you realize that they were always there because they loved you. And it's things like that where you need to let go of like the expectation of what you think that relationship needed to be like, or what you think the outcome was meant to be after each and every interaction or thing that you do in your business or in your life. When we hold on so tightly to this idea and expectation of if I do A and B, then I will get C, you're missing out on X, Y, Z because you never made it all the way through the alphabet. You didn't allow any of those other letters a chance because you were only looking for what came next after then. You didn't see all the possibility that followed the letter C. You can't get time back. And so many of us are lost in our heads. We get lost in our minds. We're so busy thinking and overthinking we're not doing, or we're just doing too much in attempt for this idea. No one actually knows how we feel. We hide. We're all introverts. We're busy, 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 busy. We tell the lie, I'm too busy, I'm too busy, or we're sitting like super overwhelmed, unable to do anything or talk to anybody. But in the meantime, life is passing you by and you're just always going to feel guilty. Always going to regret when it's gone, and you're always going to second guess every decision you've ever made. So if you're in this episode today, while you're listening, I really encourage you to allow time for you to live, allow time for you to let go of what you think things should be, let go of what you think you should be doing. Let go of who you think you should be right now by this age. I should be an adult. I should have my debt paid down. I should. Who gives a fuck what you should be doing? Do what you want to be doing. Do what feeds the dream. Do what gives you joy. Do what matters right now. When you think of someone, we're so busy. We think of people. When you think of someone, that's when you grab your phone and send a heart emoji. So like they know you're thinking of just one quick thing. Let someone know you're thinking of them. Those moments, those connections, people like we all have good intentions. We all talk about intentions, but again, actionable intention makes a difference. But good intentions don't mean shit. No one knows. No one cares. And your intentions don't mean shit. Your actions are what matter. And unless you pair those two together, doesn't mean a damn thing. You can have the best intentions of building an incredible life and an incredible business and doing all the greatness in the world. But if you're too busy letting everyone and everything pass you by and you never spent a day enjoying a moment of the process or the evolution of who and what you're becoming and celebrating along the way, then what was the point? What's the point? You're not dead yet. You're not dead yet. You're living right now. Right now, in this life, who you are right now is one life. Your soul and your being and reincarnation, I'm not like that's a whole other thing. But right now, as I am right now, Jessica, in this life, this Jessica, this pink-haired Jessica, this version of me, this body, this shell, this form, this human, this is her one life. After this, I don't know who I'll be. My soul will carry on, whomever, whatever form. But this being in person and the impact I'm making in this existence is only this one. There might be other timelines and the quantum and all that stuff, but this one is the only one I have right now. This is the only one I know right now. I can't see into other timelines, but I mean, won't go down there right now. If you're not using your divine creativity as a gift to share with others, to create the life of your dreams, to create a legacy, to make an impact, to do something with it, then what's the point? You're a human living right now. And the tighter you hold on to these ideas but not actually do anything with them, not actually enjoy anything about it. When you make a craft, if you really hate the process, like drag your feet and force yourself to finish, it doesn't even really feel that good when you're done. You're just like, oh, thank fuck that's over. That's not the vibe we want right now. We don't just want to say, oh, thank fuck it's over. Like, well, that sucks. Like, no, you want to be like, yeah, fucking did it. And you're excited, like, oh, I want to do another one. That's what projects are supposed to be like. That's the motivation. That's the vibe. That's the energy. Struggles are meant for you to advance and improve and an experience. This is a human experience. Your life and your business and your relationships are all different experiences. They're extensions of your current existence. So why are you choking the life out of your business? Why are you choking the light out of your soul by comparing to others? By thinking of all the things and putting yourself down, what you haven't done, what you don't know how to do. You'll get there if you really want to. When you push yourself so hard, you're going to break. This cycle of do, and burnout is a fucking sign that if you don't change something, it can kill you. You can only take on so much negativity and hurt and trauma and pain. If you don't take responsibility for your own healing and you want to play the victim and never do anything about it and you keep harming yourself over and over again, the light's going to go out at some point. You need to put the work into keeping that fire lit, to making it burn brighter so that the light can consume the dark so you can enjoy and live and let go and be free. Everyone wants time freedom. Everyone wants this financial freedom. Everyone's seeking freedom, but you're the one that's holding on too tight. So please, please, my message to you today is to let go, lean into trust. You need to trust yourself enough to give yourself room to grow. Even with my daughter, I thought she was going to slip and I grabbed onto her jacket this morning. She was so mad. I could do it myself. I almost helicopter parent sometimes in fear they're going to get hurt and fear they're going to, but I need to let them play. I need to let them climb. I need to let them jump. Not everything has to be padded. They have to learn and grow and experience these things for themselves, just like we do in our work. You're going to spend money and invest in things that don't turn out, but you're still getting a lesson, still a lesson learned. Prime example, my booking system. I switched systems, now I'm switching back. You're going to try shit, you're going to change your mind. That's okay. That's okay. It's never going to be perfect. But I'd rather you live a life that's really messy, magical, and just full on live like alive than to be so busy worrying about, is it good enough? It's not good enough, and trying to perfect and improve and never actually do anything with it or get anything done and just remain in that analysis paralysis. Stop over analyzing and start taking action. Please don't take your life for granted. Don't take your gifts for granted. Please go out there and please tell people you love them. Don't hold back on the things you want to say. Words left unsaid. Like the one thing, you might say one thing to someone you care about today that could change their entire life. Sharing your story could save someone else's life. We have an incredible impact on one another. We just have to be willing to share. This is why communication is so important, because when we realize there's other people out there like us, and we realize we're not alone, and we come together, it's a lot easier to work through all this shit when you have a friend, family, community. It's okay to have quiet time and be alone too, but if you were completely alone your entire life, are you even really living? Like, there's more to life than just being in it for yourself. It's not selfish to want time alone. It's not selfish to ask for that. It's not selfish to work on personal growth. It's not what I'm saying. But if you're not sharing your gifts and your experiences, like so many people are scared to sell their services because they don't want to see if they're tricking someone. But if you are aligned with what your skills and your gifts to create this transformation, to give someone beautiful brows, and you're skilled in artistry and you're doing tattoo work and you're able to help someone celebrate or move on from a life situation and make an impact in their story, to forever change their body, to have these intimate experiences carved into the flesh of another human being. Why don't you talk about that more? Why don't you share that with the world? You're not just a brow artist. You're not just a spatial or a spatial, a facial specialist. You're not just a tattoo artist. You're not just a designer, whatever creative habit, hobby, job, career, business that you might have. You're not just a person that does a thing. You're someone who actually genuinely gives a shit about the work that they do to an extent that you hold back on doing it because you're scared to do it wrong. You're scared not to be good enough. You want everything to be so great because you want to be that change for somebody. But why not do it for yourself? If you want them to live their best life, why not you? Why aren't you choosing to live your best life? Take your clothes out of the closet, like Sam on the episode where I did an interview. And she's like, I'm wearing all my dressed in la. She's got all these nice outfits, but she only wears them for photo shoots. Wear the nice outfits. Wear the good makeup. Stop saving all your special Sephora hoards for special occasions. Do what makes you feel good. Buy yourself lunch, whatever it is. Live your life, have an experience, go do something, take your inspiration days, go for coffee with a friend randomly, book time in your schedule that's flex just for you. Try new things, take a class, live this life, have an experience, share your thoughts. Everything that we do is always towards some kind of goal. But what if you selflessly just chose to exist today? As if today was a brand new day, like you're a brand new baby. You know, when someone brings home brand new baby, oh, they don't really smile when they're brand new. They're kind of like stunned and in shock from coming earthside. But you know, when you meet a baby, by the time they're old enough to be taken out, meeting everybody, you meet a baby, they're a few months old, and they see you and they and their eyes light up and they smile at you. Wow. And they're like so enamored with your hair or your necklace. What if you looked at the world the way a baby looks at all the new experiences they're having? Like, it's kind of like when you play a video game, and I don't know about you, but when I play video games, it's like an exploring video game, like The Last of Us or whatever, and you're walking around, you're trying to find every little thing that you can look on and inspect and interact with. If we lived our life that way, instead of trying to hide from people or hide from the world in fear of being judged or looked at or misunderstood, how much fun would you have? What would you discover? If you want a better business, a better life, and to live in a better world, I encourage you to stop choking the life out of it. You need to start choosing to loosen your grip and make way for the universe to interject and intervene and provide you everything that you're asking it for. We put out all this manifestation work, you know, more than wishful thinking. We manifest and we use affirmations and we're calling all this stuff into us. But if we don't allow the universe to give it to us, if we're not open to receive from the universe, then how are we going to get it? We have to be able to hold our hands out. If we're too busy holding on, we can't open up and receive. This is why there's so much into energetics. And this is why with private clients, we really break down what's going on in here and what's not aligning with what they're doing out there. Because usually there's so much going on here and they're so busy studying and learning and trying to do all this tedious shit that doesn't work for them. It doesn't need to be so difficult. You're overcomplicating it by trying to over control and micromanage every single thing that's happening. You actually make a lot more money when you put a lot less effort in trying to micromanage your entire life. You stop missing out because you're so busy looking at all the checklists and making all the notes. If you actually step back and look up from the papers you continuously scribble all over, you would see what's happening around you. Get them out of your head, thoughts out of your head and onto paper, but then move on and go do something. Just like when you're prepping, like your content, pro tip, if you're prepping shit for stories, it doesn't actually have to be recorded and posted in the moment. It might appear that way, but record your shit and just post it, save it, and then post it in the time you've allotted for that. You want to be present. Don't just, I've made this mistake over and over again where I've missed out on things because I'm not in the moment. In the moment, I'm trying to do something. I'm always multitasking, which we're always chronic multitaskers. That's just part of our existence. But if I'm multitasking to a point where I can't hear the conversation anymore because I'm too busy thinking and trying to write, I know I can't think, type, and listen at the same time. I can like listen to two things at once. I can listen to the kids and listen to a conversation, but when I have to listen, type, and think, I can't. I can't do that. So I know I need to put my phone down if I want to be able to listen. If I need to look around and make sure I'm not missing something, I know I need to have my phone away, or I know there's certain things I need to finish before I go and start something else. There's certain tasks you need to remind yourself, it's 222 right now. It's time for change. I got to change that habit. This is where I invite you to take note on what you're doing because you're going to do shit like this mindlessly. Like you've been doing it for so long, it's become part of who you are. So this is where the mindfulness comes in, where catch yourself when you're trying to like reach for your phone. Like you notice like when your phone buzzes or there's a light and you're like, you have like there's this urgency, I have to check it right now. You don't though. Like it'll be okay. I know that if this goes off, but my watch doesn't, then I know that it's not that important because only important things will show up on my watch. Other notifications from other apps are always going off on my phone, but if it's not dinging on my watch, it's not important. And if it's someone who's texting, they also know if it's really important to phone me. If it's an emergency, phone me. Like you have to establish these boundaries so you know what does needs your attention because everything, especially if you're divergent, everything has a sense of urgency. And if you're unmedicated, it can be really hard for us to prioritize and we all want it done so bad right now so we can move on. And part of slowing down is filtering out like I love worst case scenarios. What happens if this doesn't get done today? It's not the end of the world. Nobody dies. It's okay. So what else could I do today? When you're not sure and you feel lost, what feels good right now? If you can't decide on something, the first thing that comes to mind, you do it. Don't think about it because as soon as you think about it, you'll talk yourself out of it and then try and choose between something else. Start tuning into your body and what feels good. Where do you, sometimes you'll have like a pull. Like if I'm standing there and I'm like, do I go for a walk or do I go downstairs and listen to affirmations this morning? That was my struggle this morning. I didn't know what to do with myself. Because usually I want to get up and go for my walks, but I really wanted to like listen to an affirmation. I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't want to feel rushed. I wanted to have a shower, but I didn't want to have a shower because I know I was going to work out later. I started to overthink it and I was like, go listen to your affirmations. And that's what I did. I went down to my room. I listened to the affirmations. I wrote in my mindful magic planner. I did my card spread because I wanted to do my cards. And then that's exactly what I needed. It wasn't what I thought I needed initially, but that's what happened when I went, what do I want to do right now? Because in my head, I was like, you got to go for your walk. You got to go for your walk. You said you go for a walk. You go for your walk. But if I don't go for my walk, it's not the end of the world. I am going to the gym later. And what I want to do is go do my card pull. Yes, I like going for a walk every day, but it doesn't mean I have to go for my walk at 5:30 or 6 a.m. every day. I get to decide what I want to do in my day, and I'm allowed to change my mind. As long as I move, my non-negotiable is to move my body daily. How and when I choose to do so, I decide. I'm not missing out on what I wanted. What I wanted was time to reflect, get my head right, and set myself up for success for today. And that's exactly what I did. And now my dog is huffing in the background. So I invite you to start listening to what you just heard. Thank you. Thank you. He's very excited with this message. I invite you to start listening to what it is that you need what it is that you want, not what you think you should be doing, or you think you should need or should want. What do you want right now? And do that. Do you want to spontaneously just go walk a new path you've never been down before? Do you want to go collect random rocks at the park with your kid? I don't know, just random shit. Go do that. What's something you want to do? Maybe something weird, maybe something simple. Maybe you just want to go through like an old box of photos and have that done. Like, what's something that's been on the back of your mind that you can make room for? What's something you've been putting off because you've been too busy? Go do that. Do something. On that note, much love, many blessings. Until next time. Actually, on that note, I should say, and on that note, please, if you're watching on YouTube, please drop it in, I don't even know what it's called anymore. I think it's the comments. I'm having a brain fart today. You can laugh at me all you want. I'm still new to the tube, but drop it below. I'd love to know what it is you're doing today. I'd love to know what it is that you've been putting off. Like, what have you been putting off doing because you're too busy? You can even reach me if you go to my IG profile at Jessica Mystic. You can reach me on there. Shoot me a DM. I would love to know. Absolutely love to know. You can even email me. It's in the show notes. I'd love to know what you're doing. Better yet, if you come into the Mystic Sisterhood, shameless plug. That's right. Pre-sale's still on. I've actually extended the pre-sale. It's supposed to be over because it's February. We had our first live training. When you're listening to this, though, this is coming out after. So there you go for real time. But there was already live training in the vault. And as I was recording that, I realized like how good it felt to be doing this. And this is something I was putting off for so long because I was resisting doing it in Kajabi because I've created a community and this whole program in Kajabi. And I was so torn because the voice in my head was telling me, you should be doing a Facebook group. You should be doing a Facebook group and you should be going live on Zoom in the Facebook group, just like the other leaders do it, just like the ones you've been in. And I really was fighting through the idea of using Kajabi. Why wouldn't I? I already have Kajabi for my online courses. I use Kajabi for my checkouts. I use Kajabi for my coaching. Why wouldn't I host my coaching community and memberships in a safe space that's away from the norm, that's away from Meta, that's away from all that? I want it to be an exclusive community where people feel safe and not exposed. I want it to be something different because I want to break those old behavior patterns that everyone has. Everyone's in Facebook groups. Everyone, it's just another one of those things, and it's the same kind of energy, and it's just another. I didn't want to be like the rest, and I didn't want them to feel like it was like the rest. I want them to feel like I have created this specifically for them to love and support my sisters in their journey and their growth. So I can develop a close-knit community and I can control the intimacy of it. There's only 25 spots available in this community at this time. So I know that I can be present and support you all and really get to know each one of you individually because I want to better unleash your who you are and your creativity and your aspirations. I want to spark those aspirations. I want to take you from that spark in your chest to blowing you the fuck up. Like I want you to embody your best self and your next level self. I want to level you the fuck up through learning who you are and what you want and mastering your mindfulness and your gifts and really owning your magic. That's what the Mystic Sisterhood community is really about. And we can't do it alone. So if you do want it on the pre-sale, you can check the link in the show notes. You do get 3 months free right now, by the way. Like that's the pre-sale that I've been carrying through, that pre-sale pricing, because I am so jacked about this. It is brand new and it's so important to me that I really want to give back by giving you more time to become who you are, because you don't need to rush. You get to play, you get to explore, you get to take your time opening up and rediscovering who you really are and what you're really meant to do here. And on that note, much love, many blessings. and have a magical day.